Well, hello everyone. It's just Dwayne. Let's talk some gear. Okay, well so far we really haven't talked about the part that I've built, other than the fact that I built the tree straps. And so what we have is one tree strap up high, one tree strap down low. Now, this little pouch of magical goodness, you like that, is the hammock itself. Now, I created the pouch as well, and you'll see that it's attached on here. I initially tried to use Velcro to collapse it up, and man, that just got stuck on everything. So my recommendation, and again I'll show you the details of it in a little bit, are to use the strap. But everything fits inside. I have the seat / hammock, and I use Dynaglide whoopee slings. These save me a lot of weight as well. They hold about 200 pounds, and so while I'm larger than I want to be, I'm not yet that large. So I'm able to use the Dynaglide whoopee slings, and that's worked out well for me. So you'll see that I also sewed in a pouch, and basically that's just a square of material that's big enough that when it flips inside out, it becomes the pouch so that it's built in and I can't lose it. I actually stole that idea from the ULA wrap that I saw on Water Monkey's review. So again, can't take credit for any of this. Really just stole a bunch of good ideas and put my spin on it. So not trying to take credit for anything, just showing you what I got. I do use this as the top of the chair. The reason I do that is because it's also convenient. I can put my cell phone inside there to hold it so that it's not in my pocket if I don't want it to be. So like I said, we got whoopee slings. So what I'll do first is I'll go ahead and place the end of the whoopee sling where? That's right, over the knot and not over the toggle. Okay, so you'll see that's over the knot, not over the toggle. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it up some. And it fell off, so once again, over the knot and not over the toggle. Okay. The other end, I'll put over the tree strap that's hung lower down. Same way. Tighten up the whoopee sling. Now, one interesting thing I did see, I believe Professor Hammock had it. He is starting to put some small splices, small loops spliced onto the end of the whoopee sling so that it doesn't keep falling off like it just did for me as you're adjusting it. But so as you see, basically I have the smallest area possible and still have this chair work. And then all you have to do is hope that since you're on camera, you don't come crashing down. Although it'd be entertaining. And there you go. So there's my hammock chair with back. Well, the one downside that I have noticed, it's just part of what it is that you may be able to notice that I'm sliding down in the chair. The reason for this is because I made the hammock chair out of sil nylon. I used the International Orange because I wanted it to also be a pack cover, and I made it International Orange so that it would be a signaling device, and during deer season I could put it over my pack and be this big International Orange blob walking through the woods so that they would know I wasn't Bambi and wouldn't shoot me. I made it sil nylon so that I could use it as a pack cover and it would be rainproof. I don't really use a pack cover, so if I had to do it again, I may or may not do that. Maybe I'll start using a pack cover and then feel vindicated since I did it that way. But a downside of it seems to be that the sil nylon is very slippery, and so I tend to slide down the hill. So what do you do about that? My resolution is to use a pad. I use a Mariposa Plus backpack, which I love. And one of the things I love about it is that the back pad is on the outside of the pack, so that it's very easy to slip it off whenever you're taking breaks or whatever, to have a place to sit. I also, whenever I'm having lunch or whatever on the trail, I'll pull this out and sit on it. And what I've found is, if I take my pad, I lay it crossways, down where my buttocks will rest, then when I sit down, it gives me a nice cushy place to sit, and it keeps me from sliding down. Then you kick your feet up, and life is good. So this is the way I like to hang out when I'm in camp or resting on the side of the trail. Probably the only downside is, you know, you need to find 2 trees, but you know, we're hammock guys, we're used to that. And, I've generally been able to find them nearby enough where I could sit around the fire. But it does cause you to sit sideways, you know, perpendicular to the fire, because obviously the fire's not going to be in the tree. That would be efficient, wouldn't it? You wouldn't have to cut. Nah, that's another video. So yeah, so you end up 90 degrees, and that's one downside, but certainly hasn't been enough to keep me from using it. I just try to sit kind of on the edge, and then I can face everybody else, and the fire comes in that way, and all is good. So that's how I set it up in this mode. Let's go ahead and change over to bench mode. So for bench mode, nothing's really changed except that I brought the tree straps to where they were about even, and that makes it look like a baby hammock, which it is. And so with this way, I'll go ahead and stick the pad long way, and then I can just sit down and hope the tree straps don't break. So there you go. So that lets me sit in bench mode. It's probably a little high for me right now, but that, you get the point. And it works well. And so I can use it this way if I'm, you know, trying to cook or I got something in front of me, and I'm real happy with that. This bench mode is very similar to the hammock gear mode. So I'll go ahead and show that while we're here, and probably detail it maybe a little bit later, but we'll see. Okay, so basically the only difference between bench mode and gear hammock mode is that it's got gear in it. So really that is the only difference. The only modification that I made with regard to that is if you just use a hammock and you throw your gear in there, it will tend to tip. You'll go to grab something and the whole thing will tip and your gear will spill out, and it's just really hard to manage. So the way I got around that is I used some 3/32 shock cord. Now actually I think this is 1/16 shock cord. It's the thinnest shock cord I could find, because it doesn't really have any structural purpose, and you don't want to feel it when you're sitting in the hammock. I mean, you don't want to feel a line pushing up against you. So what I've done is I've sewn a channel all the way around the hammock, the edge of the hammock, and through this channel I ran this 16th shock cord, and then I just put a little toggle on the end. So whenever I'm going to put gear in here, all I do is I pull up on the shock cord, tighten the toggle, let it kind of redistribute itself, tighten it some more, tighten the toggle, let it redistribute, and I think you're starting to see the idea where this tightens up and I end up with a kind of a deeper place to put stuff. And so I put all of my gear in there, and it's held up great. I'm able to keep this under the tarp with me. I've tried it a couple different ways. One was I ran it on the same trees that my hammock was on and ran it next to me, and it would tend to bump into my hammock. So in an effort to work with that, I tied a little piece of grow gain in the bottom here, a little tab that I can run a line through, and if I need to hang it this way, I can pull it out and stake it out, and so my gear hammock kind of just pulls off. As long as I don't have too much weight in it, that seems to work fine. What I do most of the time is my tree straps are high up as I can reach, which as you can tell is really high, and my hammock comes off of them similar to here. Okay, then what I'll do is I'll tie a second marlin spike hitch into here, and this will actually hang up, and I'll pull from this tail to this tail is where I'll hang my gear hammock, and so and I'll pull it very taut, and it will hang suspended above my hammock. So when I get out of my hammock, I just reach up, do what I want to do, and when I'm in my hammock, it's suspended above me. It's fine. It's usually just right below the ridge of the tarp, and so it hasn't gotten wet. Nothing's gotten wet. It's worked out really great, and all my gear is right there with me off the ground. And then what I'll do is I'll hang my empty pack off of the gear hammock. You can see how when I was talking about kind of changing the lie as opposed to here. But anyhow, when I hang, I'll just hang it off on the foot end, and it'll just kind of hang off the side of the hammock and doesn't get in my way, and the whole system works out great for me.